So we have gathered here today to commemorate, lament and commemorate the state that XCOM is in.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So, Pariah, why don't you tell us about why did you decide to organize this thing? The very round table that we're doing now.
Hopefully that intervention.
Exactly, intervention. That's what it is. It's an intervention. Amazing. I like that.
We need to talk.
This.
You know we love you.
But right, Pariah.
Yeah, I'm actually working on a special on this where I talk about the XCOM franchise, all in all. And it just hit me. Hey, I have an idea. Why don't I ask the gang what they think?
Okay.
Have you seen the trailer of the new Enemy Within?
I saw a video of the developers talking about it. Well, I haven't seen a trailer, or is that what you mean?
In-game footage. I've seen in-game footage of it.
Yeah.
I saw a thing hit another thing.
There's a mech, and he was punching the secto mech, and then he punched the sectoid through a tractor. That was pretty cool.
Yeah, and I was thinking like, what is this? Is this XCOM? Looks like Halo to me. Especially those bio-enforced cyborg soldiers with their giant legs and their giant shoulder pads. I thought like, wow, this could be straight out of Halo.
There's a lot of things with big guys though. So what makes you think it's Halo over, say, some 40k?
To be perfectly honest, XCOM kind of looked like Halo to me before it even came out. You know, the Firaxis Enemy Unknown. There's even a combat suit skin where you look exactly like the Master Chief.
That's true, actually. Yeah. Oh yeah, you can get that helmet thing.
Yeah, I never used them.
No, if it doesn't have an effect on the game, I tend not to bother. I don't tend to skin stuff much. I don't really have the time. Although it's cool if people want to do that.
But at the same time, you got all the powerful stuff in regular XCOM as well. You got the blaster or whatever thing is, where you path and then explode the entire building. And you have the tanks that can fly and destroy and are almost indestructible. You have telepathic powers. So it's very similar. They're just basically expanding on, they give you like jumping on the roof or whatever. And I don't know. Is that different from the original?
Yeah, let's let me get on a tangent here.
Yeah.
So what I feel is that the producers of XCOM, like Firaxis and 2K Marin, whatever they're called, they kind of sort of miss the point what XCOM is all about. Because in my humble opinion, XCOM was always about one thing. You, humans, you're outgunned, you have little money, and if you screw up too much, the council just says, yeah, you know what? Fuck you, we're just gonna let the aliens have their way with us. And it was always about the humans, the normal guys, overcoming all those discrepancies and winning against a superior force purely by adapting and being smart and strategy.
Right.
And to me, both Enemy Within and the Bureau that got declassified kind of sort of missed that point. For instance, in the Bureau, you're playing this, what is his name, William Carter?
Yeah.
Yeah. I call him Jimmy, but...
Okay, let's call him Jimmy. So, Jimmy is this broken guy. My family is dead. I hate my life. Where's my gun? I'm gonna kill myself. And in the very intro, he stops being a normal human. I still don't know what he became, but he's not human anymore because his goddamn gunshot wound is healed in the moment.
Yeah.
So the very first problem is you're not playing a human anymore. You're like a super alien hybrid soldier, and that sucks. Because you're no longer the human overcoming the terrible, strong alien force by intelligence or strategy or adapting. It's because you can heal faster than anybody else.
That's
pretty valid.
I think that I fully agree with that. I think that Declassified is XCOM mostly in name. It's you're kind of playing even slightly prettier, probably version of Mass Effect.
That's what I've heard.
With XCOM enemies, sort of, that look like XCOM enemies, and then everyone is like, "Oh, XCOM," instead of like "Oh, Shepard."
Oh, Jimmy.
Oh, Jimmy. If you put a fedora on Shepard, I think more or less.
I love it as well because just because the current climate with fedoras is if you have one and you wear one, you're kind of a knob.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. Or your notch. Yeah.
Well, he's a.
And he's a knob.
I'm not going to say anything.
No, I can
piss
say
off everyone in the entire world and say that I think
not everyone loves Minecraft. Okay.
What? Really?
Yeah. No, there's people like I don't love it.
Okay, so one thing I would say where I kind of differ on that point is I would say completely with Bureau, there's a lot of big problems, especially in that way, and you nailed it with the main character actually not being a human. Kind of is, but yeah, like the important thing is he's been changed, and that's the only way he can win. Whereas in the original XCOM, they, like you say, they adapted, but they were adapting alien technology and alien techniques to then beat them at their own game. The problem is if you then go and make a sequel, it makes no sense to go back to scratch. You're like, okay, I've got this cool alien technology, I'm going to take it further, and then maybe the interesting question is, when do you stop being human? Which is, I know people do quite a lot, but it makes more sense than just, the aliens are completely outgunning us, because at this point we've kind of matched them. It's hard to know where to go plot-wise from there.
Yeah, as long as you don't go underwater.
Don't go underwater, it's a fucking mess.
Yeah, it is a fucking mess.
You know what? You're right.
Oh.
But there's this point. You just said, at a certain point we reach this part where we are matched. The aliens and us, we're matched. We got Psy soldiers, they got ethereals, we got big guns, they got big guns, we got hover tanks, they got cyber discs, who cares? But that's not what Enemy Within is. Yeah. Enemy Within is basically the same game again, added with some bio-geno hunters and some cyborgs for you. They don't acknowledge the fact that we won. They just say, oh, here's the same game again, just with some added extras.
Oh wait, so is it just the campaign again, but your tree keeps going?
You play it again, but you got the new stuff now, and they got the new stuff, so...
I would much preferred it to be a continuation of where you got to. I didn't know that was the case.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, plot-wise, it would work much better. But if you think about the multiplayer, the more variety of units there is, the better it becomes.
Oh yeah, I think it's going to be really good for you in your next 4,000 multiplayer videos. I think it's
exactly. Really... They're working. These guys are working on me. They've seen my videos.
Yeah, have they patched dash bugging and all that shit?
Well, hopefully with the new one, because it's going to have a multiplayer of its own with that 8 additional maps. So I mean,
Oh yeah, maps as well. I mean, I certainly can't complain about that. I mean, I think you're probably right about what's going on with the spirit of XCOM and how it's just another sort of IP that people liked and they're pumping just like they do in film and in general. So yeah, there's some downside to it. But as far as the game being playable and kind of fun, I think that it's nice that it did so well, because now we've got almost a new game coming. Even if it's not as good or as balanced. I don't know if it's going to be as good or as balanced as what we already got.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it will be enjoyable, but I still kind of feel that the companies in charge right now are kind of missing the point. If you've seen the gameplay trailer, there's this animation where that cyborg soldier guy is punching that robot with the sectoid in it.
Yeah.
And I've been paying close attention to that, and it's always the same goddamn animation every time.
So they only made one?
Yeah, like one animation for each enemy you can punch, and every time he punches that secto robot, it's the same. He blocks, the robot blocks, and then he kind of grabs him, and then he punches him in the face, and then it explodes. It's always the same.
I think that's the execution animation, and they only have one as far as we can tell. But if you don't kill him with one punch, then I don't think you'll see that necessarily.
Okay, so then maybe there's a whole nother set of animations for just damage.
Or shooting, yeah. I think those things... So, because when you go, as far as I understand, when you go... so you can go both. You can go like this augmentation, and you can go mech. And when you're going mech, you're gonna go as you're upgrading your soldier. First you're gonna have like a grenade launcher or flamethrower. So let's say flamethrower, grenade launcher, then some railgun, and then you can go make him punchy. So you don't necessarily have to make him punchy at all, as I understand. So yeah, you can. But yeah, if they made only one animation of execution of an enemy, but it's not very dissimilar from what they did with Berserker. When Berserker kills you, he kills you the same way all the time.
True.
So that's so. I always thought like there's at least 2 animation sets for the Berserker just mawing you to a lump.
I'm not sure. I think there's only one. I cannot really remember 2 of them.
Yes. I think there's 1 or 2, but there's certainly not more than that.
Yeah.
I think maybe the distinction is one where it hurts you, and then the other one where it like pulverizes you into a little mush.
By the way, sorry.
No, go on. Go ahead.
So how far have you progressed in your game with Jimmy, the super hybrid alien?
You're all up to date. We got to a school.
It's the first mission. It's the first real mission. Because you start with like escape from this secret facility that's getting destroyed by aliens.
Yeah.
Then you go to a base, and you know, depending on how fast you run through it, you can spend up to an hour just walking around.
Just fucking drinking coffee and listening to the radio.
Yeah, and smoking all the time, and the people going like, "Oh my god, have you seen our aliens? They're like monsters. They're like monsters." And then you get the first mission, and it's kind of long, so I'm not even sure. To this day, I don't know if the missions are randomized at all, or if you just have to go, you know, mission A, mission B, mission C, or is the order different? So, but yeah, this is mission A, the real one, the first real one.
Okay. So there's this funny little twist going on with the Bureau and Enemy Within. See, in this mission that you're playing right now, there's a certain stage where you fight a mini-boss, and it's a robot with a sectoid in it.
Is it a sectopod?
Sectopod, yeah.
Yeah. First time I saw it, I said, that's a sectopod.
Yeah.
Sure it is. And now the little twist is, in Enemy Within, they get a robot that is piloted by a sectoid.
Yeah.
But of course they can't call that sectopod, because the sectopod is a giant robot that goes around with ethereals.
Yeah, but the difference is that the modern, let's call it modern sectopod, like, so the sectopod we see in XCOM Enemy Unknown, and it doesn't actually has a sectoid that you can detach from the machine. Remember when you dissect it in the enemy with the enemy unknown. Yeah, it says like it seems like there's a, you know, something that's half alive. There's a guy inside, or they find a heart or something like that. So it's like a fusion of machine and sectoid, or which is almost a machine. While the robot you see, you know, fighting the mech that you see has a pilot sitting inside. So that's the difference, I think.
So the aliens get better at sort of fusing things with machines between the 50s and present day.
Yeah, that seems like that. Yeah, so first they had an actual guy sitting in a car, sort of, and then now they have they more or less fusion, going on.
Are they really trying to reconcile the 2 kind of series?
I don't know. They shouldn't really try. I mean,
I don't see it happening. I don't see it work.
Care to hear my take?
Go for it.
On it. I linked you to a video on Skype.
You
Put
did?
it in the notes as well.
Oh, okay. You just have to watch a few seconds, and then I can explain.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, go ahead. I'll put in a video of this, hopefully.
Oh, this is some old stuff.
Yeah, this is the first version of the Declassified, right?
He's a Zambambo.
The alien Zambambo.
Oh no, I'm a space robot. My only weakness is Tommy guns.
And fists. If you look at the original Enemy Unknown and Terror from the Deep, they kinda sort of are on the same storyline, basically. Like, they both feature the same universe, okay?
Yeah.
So, and obviously the Firaxis XCOM pretty much ignores what happened in UFO Defense and Terror from the Deep, so a new storyline sort of started up, right?
Yep.
Which continues with Enemy Within.
Yeah.
So, and how I see it is that the Bureau that got declassified is also its own thing, so they will never interject or fuse at any point. Like it's not the prelude to what we got with Enemy Unknown by Firaxis. So what I'm getting at is this. The original concept for Outsiders was this sort of Lego robot thing, right? Like in this video. And then all of a sudden they realized, holy shit, all the fans, they go nuts. They want the sectoids and then the mutons, so we have to change everything. And that's why we got the Bureau now and not 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Right.
And in my humble opinion, that was the major mistake.
Oh, interesting. So you prefer the kind of Terminator-style new unknown type alien?
Not exactly. The thing is, at the moment that we got Enemy Unknown by Firaxis, the fans were, happy.
Pretty much.
We got what we want, and there was no need to complain anymore about a shooter. So they could have just stuck with whatever story they had planned, and let us fight those Lego robots, whatever.
Yeah.
And when you progress further in the story with Jimmy. With Jimmy.
Jimmy, yeah.
You will get to know that all those aliens, the sectoids and the mutants, they're controlled by some sort of network called Mosaic.
Ah, yes, I've heard that.
Yeah.
And if you look at this footage here, you can see the robot kind of looks like a mosaic somehow, don't you think?
Yeah, that's the point, yeah.
And also the way the game ends and how you win, I'm not going to spoiler it. It's tied to Mosaic, and it makes way more sense if the aliens are just robots. So the sectoids and the mutants, they don't fit in really.
Yeah,
they just decided to remove the robot aliens and said, just put some sectoids in it. The fans will love that.
I think the way they tie them in is that they're saying the Mosaic force has enslaved these guys. That's their story. It's a very weak story, but I've heard it said by the developers. So, not heard it, but I read it in an interview. So they're saying, they went from hopping from world to world and enslaving and using some of the population to fight for them. And one of them was sectoids, another one was the mutons, and so they brought them all together as soldiers to Earth. But it is controlled by some other force, which is the Mosaic, whatever that is.
And you know what? That's the exact same story as
Half-Life?
Enemy Unknown.
Yeah, it's kind of...
And Half-Life.
Yeah. And Half-Life, yeah.
Since we later learned that the Ethereals are basically traveling around in a little temple ship, attacking sentient races, and if you can face them and produce some mind controllers, they say, alright, you can stick with us, and if you lose, they just enslave you.
Yeah, but it's the same story as the original XCOM as well.
Kind of, yeah. There is that robot brain thing in Mars saying, we created you, which is a little different.
Yeah, but they didn't collect them around. They actually made all these different types of aliens, and they're using them now as soldiers, blah, blah, blah.
Yes.
Yeah, so it's all the same story. The reason they did this is a design decision, because it's boring to fight the same unit over and over again. If it was just the sectoids, no one would play this game. But oh my god, I just downed a UFO. Who's gonna be in it? Is it sectoids? Is it Snake Man? Or is it full of chrysalids? And and so on. So it's kind of more fun to have different enemy units, and they had to then justify that somehow. And they could kind of justify it the same way, but slightly different. One was we just created all of them ourselves, the brain says, and the other one is like, no, we just collected them going around from planet to planet. But the idea being that, we need a narrative to tie the design decision together.
True. So the point I was getting at is, if they wanted to make a shooter, that's fine. If it's just a Mass Effect clone, that's fine too. But the thing is, after we got Enemy Unknown, we already had our XCOM back, so why didn't they just stick with the whole we are Terminators shtick? That was fine.
It wouldn't sell. If they put the name on it, then people will be like, well, it has XCOM on it, there's nothing like XCOM, what the fuck? And then now that he's like, it's kind of like XCOM, has an XCOM name on it, everyone got the Enemy Unknown, they bought it, everyone was like, yeah, this is a really cool game. People even who never heard about XCOM before. So, that way they sold more copies of the game.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, probably the number of people who played the original who bought the new one is far dwarfed by just the number of people who are like, what's XCOM? And bought it, which is why I think they probably did that.
Yeah, but then again, at the same time, they're kind of pissing all the fans off because it's not really XCOM. It's just, oh look, sectoids with controlling devices and mutons that don't really look like mutons and sectopods that don't look like sectopods.
Yeah, it's a cash-in, I think.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, but neither is the only one. Sorry, Ed, go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, all I was going to say is it's a cash-in, so the value they place on pissing off fans is probably a little lower than the value they place on having money.
Yeah, as usual. Yeah. Do you guys remember Enforcer?
Yeah. I own it because I bought the XCOM pack because it was like £2. But I mean, the one thing we haven't spoken about is how fucked the series got on its own.
Exactly.
Wait.
Yeah.
Enforcer, was Enforcer the one with the
See, we're
ego shooter?
Hardcore XCOM fans, and we can't quite place which one Enforcer was. Like, that's a problem, isn't it?
Right, so the original series went, so it was XCOM Enemy Unknown, I think, wasn't it called, or UFO Defense, depending on what country you lived in?
Unknown for the UK, yeah.
Yeah, and then you had XCOM Terror from Deep, and then you had XCOM Apocalypse, I think?
Yes, Apocalypse
yes.
Third.
And chronologically, the fourth one was the XCOM Interceptor, which is the weirdest game ever.
The interface is so fucking nuts.
It is really strange. And compared to Declassified, I think Interceptor is probably much stranger. And then you got the Enforcer, which was basically like 3D graphics. So all that happens in that game. I probably should do a playthrough of Enforcer on the channel.
Don't do it to yourself, man.
Yeah, really piss off everyone.
Piss off yourself. It's fucking terrible.
Maybe I'll do like one episode of it.
I had this feeling like you had. Maybe I saw somebody else play it.
No, I was saying that I'm gonna attempt to understand how Interceptor, finally understand how Interceptor works, and then try and do a video. But I never did that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And then there was like a slightly more modern-ish one, which was set on Mars, I think. Was it Mars or somewhere else? I can't remember which one that is. Does anyone?
Oh right, yeah, but that's not XCOM franchise. That's UFO franchise.
Oh,
spin-off.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's technically not. Okay,
that's
not
like a half clone. It's like a zombie clone.
Oh, okay, like all those like half Jagged Alliance clones and things.
Yeah. So, Pride, do you remember what that was called? It was UFO something.
Aftermath.
Yeah.
Aftershock.
Yeah, could well have been. I don't know for certain. I saw someone play it at uni, so it must have been out around 2007 at least. Anyway, so yeah, there were other ones that really missed the mark as well, but this one's been really commercially successful. I don't know how well Bureau's done. I imagine it hasn't done anywhere near as well as Enemy Unknown, but I don't know.
Probably not. Yeah.
But yeah, of course, I don't know for sure. Maybe it's making tons of money. Well, we should see if it's on Steam sale.
I actually played through the UFO Aftermath from beginning to end, and it's kind of it's a bit more horror-y, or they're trying to be more horror-y than original XCOM.
Wait.
Yeah.
Aftermath, was that the one with with those floating aliens that spew stuff at you? What's called the genomes? No, not genomes. Let me think for a moment.
Xenomes? I don't know. But yeah, they had something like that. It was the one where like this shit is spreading on Earth, like you can actually see it on the globe.
The biomass. Yeah, that one.
Yeah. So that one. It's kind
of a Tiberian Sun ripoff a little bit.
Yeah, but Tiberian
Where they
Sun...
call the Greys the Reticulans.
Ridiculans.
Yeah.
Reticulans.
Ridiculans, yeah.
Ridiculans.
That would be a great race, wouldn't it be? Like, like an alien race called Ridiculans.
They just show up and make you laugh, and you can't fight them because you're laughing.
Exactly, yeah.
I remember transgenans. That was what the aliens are called. Those mutated animals. Transgenans.
Yeah.
Okay. Like the Thing, I guess.
Yeah, I guess, yeah. And it also has mods. I didn't realize the community was so big. Like, apparently people like it, even though its Metacritic score is 67. Yeah. I wonder how much it goes down with if you go to the next series. So let's go from Aftermath to Aftershock. Great name. It doesn't even list in the Metacritic score. Probably it's not good. Same with Afterlight. But this was basically us saying that there were some fuck-ups before even we got to the modern commercial age of XCOM Declassified, I think.
Yeah, I think probably, well, obviously it's now rather than way back then, so that's why we're a bit more like on it with this stuff. But also, this is being commercially successful, and maybe we grudge that slightly because they've been commercially successful with something we love for maybe the wrong reasons. And I'm wondering if that has some component.
Exactly, yeah. We're just grumpy old men.
Yeah. So what would we want? What do we want then? Okay, in something new.
XCOM Enemy Below.
I would love a HD version of Terror from the Deep where they rejigged it so that it actually made sense. Because that was the main problem with Terror from the Deep. It was like, okay, guys, we wanted to make a new map, but we didn't really want to not have it on Earth, so we just flipped it. We just flipped it on you and then made it harder.
Yeah, but they also probably should make it slightly easier in certain terms, like the giant maps.
Oh yeah.
They should be. It
should be challenging, but not in an unfun way. Because
like maybe shorter, or something like a little bit shorter. 30% shorter.
Or there are games where I pour time into, and I don't notice it going. But on a shipping lane mission, I start looking at my watch. I gotta say, it's a bit much.
Yeah, to be honest, I really, really dread playing Terror from the Deep right now. I really don't. I've been playing UFO Defense very much recently on Genius. And I'm
Is it
winning.
Patched?
I could never win.
Difficulty patch.
Oh no, you're playing the version 1, aren't you? So, yeah, that doesn't count.
No.
I must be superhuman at this.
Yeah.
Oh man, that's cool.
No, not this time. This time it's really patched.
Good. Oh man.
So imagine my surprise that I was winning on Genius.
That's cool. Well, if you know what you're doing, you pick, where the tech tree, you know what to kit people out with, not to keep them out of cover. It's doable. It's definitely an achievable thing.
So, what is it difficult at least, or are you just swimming through it? Sorry about the pun.
No, it's difficult, but gas grenades are really, really helpful in UFO defense. Unlike Terror from the Deep, these color grenades are just useless. Really,
we haven't done much with them or done well. Particularly, any period that you can remember where we used a smoke grenade and done all right?
What in which one?
Terror.
No, well, yeah, we used them a couple of times, but we were like, I wonder if this is because of the smoke grenade, or we just hit, or them, lobstermen just missed.
Yeah.
So I was never really sure because you don't have is there anywhere data like how much the aim decreases if they're in the smoke? I don't think so.
In the UFOpedia, but the thing is, die grenades. Now remember, it's die grenades. Yeah. They take too long to spread, and
that's right.
The bonus to not get hit is way too low cover.
Yeah.
So in UFO defense, it was really helpful. In Terror from the Deep, nobody bothers with die grenades. Really, no one.
Huh.
In 10 or 20 Let's Plays of Terror from the Deep, and no one uses die grenades.
Well, that's,
how about proximity ones?
Yeah, proximities are alright, but die grenades, no one
Maybe
bothers.
We should start using them.
Just be special.
Just for fun.
So what would you change in terms of, let's say, an XCOM Enemy Unknown? What would you make different? Because I understand that you're not fully happy with that either.
You mean the Firaxis one?
Yeah, the Firaxis one, yeah.
So, what I would like instead of Enemy Within would be rather simple. They can do the same campaign again, I don't care, but how about adding some stuff back in that they promised and never delivered, like a base defense? I really love my base defense missions, because it's just a thrill, to defend your base against some ethereals that go nuts on you. But of course you can't do that because your anthill is, going down instead of sideways.
Yeah, true.
Well, in Terror from the Deep, it has 4 levels. Technically.
Yes, but then technically you have to make 16 levels because it goes down so far. Remember, the upper part that you can't access is also part of your base with the hangar and the command center.
Doesn't it go 5 levels then?
Or 8.
You could have the defense just happen outside, and if they get that far in, and you just lose. Something like that.
Yeah, something like that.
Even that would be better than nothing. Oh no, a UFO landed outside our base. Go in the forest and kill them before they get here. That would be at least something. Yeah.
Or but then again, they would be like, but you can only take 6 people, and it'd be like, why?
Or how about you could have an entire thing where instead of them like strongly attacking your base, they spend their entire time trying to infiltrate it. So there's all these little people milling around, and one of them could be like some kind of face dancer, and you're like, which one is it? And you have this entire other espionage side to it.
Face dancer.
Well, you know.
Oh no! Command Officer Bradford was a face dancer. Tlilaxu face dancer.
Someone who can, pose as a human, but actually isn't. For
example. Oh right.
That would be quite a different game, though. I think it'd be quite spy-ish, a bit more apocalypsy.
Yeah, honestly, when I thought about Enemy Within, I thought like, hey, that's a clever idea. Maybe they will add this entire countries have made a secret agreement with aliens thing,
That'd be interesting.
But no.
That would be very interesting.
They don't.
Where you have kind of a regular land war. That was something I think me and Arbiter spoke about. Arbiter is somebody who appears on the channel quite a bit. And talking about a version of XCOM where perhaps the aliens were pretty much winning and they'd taken over about half the world, but then whatever it was that was supplying them was like fucked up. Like a gate through space or whatever, it just like broke, and so they're like 4 light years away from any backup, and suddenly it's actually a fair fight again, and you're doing half the world versus half the world.
Are they experiencing like economic crisis or something?
Yeah, some kind of alien economic crisis.
Yeah, galactic crisis.
That sounds awesome, actually.
What else? I want a horror game. I want an XCOM horror game. So that's missing. There's no horror. Yeah. And the old one was fucking terrible.
I had this idea a few years back. Imagine the Bureau, but instead of, this strange whatever we got, imagine Terror from the Deep instead of the Bureau. Like going on to underwater missions in a suit, but you're controlling it like the Bureau. That would be horrible. It's like Dead Space meets The Abyss.
Ooh, there's a game that Andro played that you might be interested in. Very simple game called Capsule. And I thought that would be a really good template for the start of a Terror from the Deep game. Something where it's so deep that you can only send like one person going through all this horrible, nasty underwater shit. And they see very little, and they got like limited oxygen and all this crap. And you're just like, fuck, this is horrible.
Yeah, but again, if you move very slowly, because that's what you would do realistically underwater, would that be an enjoyable experience in terms of gameplay? If Bureau Declassified or whatever it is was actually a horror game. Sorry, a TFTD game.
Yeah. You have to put it in the future, of course, not in the 50s. But because then you could say like, oh, we got those hydro whatever things that make you move a little bit faster underwater. And then you have an explanation for why you can move at normal pace at least.
Yeah, but then again, it wouldn't feel like you're underwater. So there's underwater gaming is difficult, man.
I would just have it maybe that like there are sections where it's getting from A to B in some kind of underwater transport, and then most of the rest of it, you're actually in like pockets of air or facilities that you found that maybe are abandoned or this and that, so that you're actually doing a lot of just wandering around places with the deep outside as well.
Yeah, you know what else would be really cool in let's say underwater or whatever, anyway, any XCOM or non-XCOM alien game is if you also meet the alien civilians. Ooh. And there would be not necessarily moral choice that would affect gameplay in any way, but like, you have the freedom to kill them as well.
That's
and who's the bad guy then?
Ooh.
What if they can't?
Well, look, it's a sectoid infant.
A little baby sectoid with its 3 testicles.
Exactly, yeah. Little baby sectoids, or the Gilman's, families and wives and children and so on.
Yeah, that's true. Gilman actually are like living beings, not clones.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. And so, would you blow up their houses to get back at them?
An interesting thought.
Please don't shoot me. I have a family.
And maybe they also grab like a weapon or something, but they're really bad because they're not trained and so on and so forth. And like you feel bad about killing someone who hardly can shoot a gun.
Just go. Leave the eggs.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly, yeah. We'll eat them. We'll take care of them.
You can't eat them.
That would be kind of awesome.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, there's definitely things you can do. Interesting.
And then you can decide whether you want to enslave them or not. The ones that you get, like your prisoners, and what do you do with them?
This is sounding very Mass Effect-y.
Really?
Right, I have an idea for a new game. If you care. imagine like an ego shooter or role playing game in the future. Like the alien wars are over and the big overlord or whatever is gone, and the aliens that remained kind of had to fit in on Earth. So we have like this cyberpunk-esque future with sectoid drug dealers and ethereals floating around doing errands, and there's some mob boss that's actually an ethereal, and that would be kind of awesome. Or like a door guard that's a muton and says, "Don't make any trouble in here."
So like Babylon 5.
Yes, sort of. So like seeing what the war done to Earth and humans as a whole, like all of a sudden there's aliens everywhere, and how the technology changed us and our way how we look at people, and all of a sudden sectoids are not just clones but they're families, and mutons are kind of nice actually, like Chewbacca.
One thing I would say is that if we somehow won a war against aliens and there were still some left, would have a really terrible time. Like they wouldn't really be. I imagine it would be a long time until they were integrated in society, unless you had countries that had already signed pacts with them and are already kind of started merging. It would be an interesting thing to look at, definitely, because that's such a like, oh yeah, about that trying to take over your planet thing. Sorry about that.
Yeah.
And then to see where they
Exactly.
go from that. Because I imagine, let's say I was in charge of a country and I just, or like the planet, and I'd stop the aliens and there are some left. I'd be like, okay, time to find out all your secrets and technology and everything, and you're going to be my bitches.
Yeah, pretty much, yeah. But it could also be, you know what, it'd be a good also genre in terms of that world that you described.
Oh,
but
yeah.
have it like a GTA thing where you just drive them over. I think that would be great.
With a black coffee mod where you can have sex with a sectoid
Yeah,
hooker.
pretty much, yeah. And the car is really shaking.
Oh yes, mind meld. Mind meld.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, sectoids. Not erotic in any way, shape, or form. We like XCOM, but we don't like it in that way.
But you asked me what I would like in Enemy Unknown Within, whatever. About adding sectopods to multiplayer.
Yeah.
It's just simple
That'd be nice.
thing to do. Actually, I don't know.
I think-
maybe the AI was a bit funny on them, such that they couldn't really be player controlled very easily.
Maybe, yeah. But they're also gonna have. I'm pretty sure they're probably gonna add the Secto Max or whatever they're called, Mecha Sects.
Let's call them sectobots because it
How about
sounds
Jimmy
ridiculous.
Senior? Anyway, carry on.
But yeah, I think they are gonna be in multiplayer now. I think so.
Right. Okay. Well, good, because I mean,
We need 400 more videos.
yeah, we need 400 more videos and
You're right.
more people to play it as well. No.
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, I've been practicing multiplayer with my friends, so now I can stand
Banned on.
more than one turn.
Nice.
You mean XCOM multiplayer?
Yeah, XCOM Enemy Within multiplayer.
So yeah, I think we
No,
should do
I'm
some.
not.
Well, when I say we, I mean you two should do some multiplayer games.
That's great. Yeah. Do you want to do one today?
Sure,
Oh,
if you
yeah.
like.
Yeah. Let's just shut this stuff down. I mean,
I think
we do right
I think
now.
we've talked it out. What do you think? Anything else left to discuss on the matter?
If I had any say in the future of XCOM, what I would like to see would be a remake of Terror from the Deep, of course. Even if it's hard as balls and we all hate ourselves for spending time on it, it's fine. They can even just take the Enemy Within from Firaxis and put it on the water again. I don't care.
Change the color, right?
Yeah. Had
Yeah,
that
change
horrible
the
power.
color and throw grenades like usual because, underwater it's totally fine to throw grenades.
2,000 mile
Who
an hour
cares?
planes underwater.
Yep.
No, but seriously, if they make another XCOM shooter, I would like to see something a little more original. Like with Apocalypse, they actually try to make a different story because it's set after Terror from
that's
the
true.
Deep, right?
Yeah.
So why don't they just, risk something? We have our XCOM franchise with the sectoids and all. They can make like a spin-off, not everything related to Star Wars also features Darth Vader, right?
It doesn't. But yeah.
So they can have like an alternate universe with the Bureau and Jimmy going around being a half alien, whatever. It's fine. They just, they should just risk something. We don't need another story about how aliens take over the world. We can just play the Firaxis XCOM if you want that.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea. I agree.
I know what game would be nice, I think. I don't know which genre. I mean, it could be like the Bureau, or it could be like the strategy version, but one where you play as aliens trying to conquer the Earth.
Ooh, I like that.
That'll be fun.
How about
That would
like
be nice.
a big
having...
asymmetrical 2-player campaign as well? So one of you is the aliens, one of you is the Earth.
Yeah, well, that could work as well. And you have like, limited amount of UFOs you can send around, and some of them get shot down. And if you get shot down, you have to fight with them and blah.
Oh
blah,
yeah,
blah.
I had one other idea, XCOM related, where your entire job. So it's somebody. Basically, the plot is somebody is doing whatever in Firaxis XCOM, right? They're doing saving the world, but your job is the media guy, and you have to basically manage the news such that people don't panic, so that you can still get the money for them, so they can still do their Earth defense thing. And you're like spinning it like crazy. You're going, oh, it's a weather balloon. Oh, no, they're not dead. Oh, their minds are still intact, and all this. That'd be awesome.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just a weather balloon. But the White House blew up. Yeah, as I said, it was a weather balloon.
Well, it was a filming. They were making.
Yeah. One of those million films that just came out where the White House blows up. Maybe the White House has blown up. We don't know about it, and there was a big cover up with all those movies.
It's a
Have
hologram.
you seen the White House?
Or they could just.
I haven't.
I have. Yeah.
Oh, you have. All right.
I have.
Yeah, but recently.
Yeah. I'm not. It was very. No, they don't let you close, so I don't know if it's real.
Maybe it's actually very small and you weren't close.
Yeah, you have to stand like at least 200 meters away, as far as I know. As far as I could tell, like judge the distance. But what I was gonna say is, you could another realistic version of, or the way of trying to make people think that it's not aliens. Keep saying that it's terrorists.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so it'd be like, oh, there's an explosion, where people are, it's just the Islamic terrorists did it or whatever.
Space Islamic terrorists.
Yeah.
But they are floating.
Yeah,
it's floating Arabs.
This is
religion, they're nuts.
You said don't go into Syria. Now look, they've all got float technology.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, so I guess that's
that. All right, cool. Thanks for everyone who listened to us, I guess. Hopefully, I managed to get a nice background videos that I've stolen around the internet to put as a background to
some
this
fucking
recording.
Nicolas Cage compilation or something.
Oh man, they'll be like, I hope it's in there. I hope it's playing right now as people are hearing my voice.
I'm a vampire. I'm a vampire.
Cool, good stuff.
All right, nice one. Thanks everybody.
All right, thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Yeah, thanks for tuning in.
Bye.
Bye.